So what I've done for you all is go through, and with Lisette's help, I've gone through and I've gotten your local market data. And a lot of it mirrors the same graphs on the national level. So you see how this might be easily digestible for a seller. Because they're going, okay, well there's the national data, but we all know that just because it's snowing in Yellowstone doesn't mean it's snowing here in Raleigh, right? Okay, so the local markets are all different. So we dial this down from big to small, from the national level to the local level. Well, here's an overview of what's going on in the Raleigh market in sales volume each year going back to 1995. See a little trend that happened starting between 2003 and 2004? And then this area right here is kind of called pain, right? But it's beginning to taper off a little bit. Okay, we're not, in free fall so much anymore. Now most people, most adults, how do most adults learn? What are the different styles of learning? You have auditory, visual, kinesthetic. Most people are visual learners. So this begins to put the market in perspective a little bit, right? We were up here. How many of y'all got into business between 03 and 06? Me too. Me too. There's a lot to learn. Been there, done that. I understand. Still learning. Okay, so now let's look at units. Go figure, it kind of mirrors the same thing, right? So, Linda, you've been in the market for a while. Can you tell me why this? All of a sudden in 2003, we had a little slowdown even in units in there, and volume. Any idea what might have caused that between 2001 and 2003?
9/11.
9/11.
Yeah, it was just where we were as a nation.
Yep.
It was that confidence that we lost because of the 9/11 thing.
Yep, I think you're right. Now what's really interesting is it looks different everywhere you go. Raleigh and Charlotte were way more impacted by 9/11 than Wilmington was, believe it or not. Because a lot of people still drove on with their plans to retire or buy a second home for some reason, okay? But there's so much more industry here that's affected by what's going on in the S&P 500 and the Dow and the NASDAQ and all that sort of stuff, that there's a more obvious effect here. Okay, so let's go on and look at days on market. Okay, so you can see 0102 time frame, we get this big spike in days on market, and then while volume and units are going up, or days on market are crashing here down to about 2008. But still, even 2010 for Wake County only averaged about 102 days on the market, which honestly is not so bad. That's actually really good. Is any of this surprising to you all yet? Does the market feel this way to you?
I think it just depends on price
Okay.
of the house.
That's good. That's an excellent point.
I mean,
Excellent
some of
point.
the higher ends are going to sit there for,
A lot longer.
yeah.
Okay. So then let's get into, now this is pretty interesting. What I did, remember the 4% appreciation thing? Remember we talking about that? So this is the average sales price in Wake County compared to a 4% curve. Pretty amazing to me. Because Wake County tracked right along with that 4% curve right up here to 2004, and then began to have some appreciation up above it.
So is the purple the national?
The purple is the national 4% average,
Okay.
which held true here. I mean, really, if you look at it, we tracked right along with that till here. And then it kind of jumped up over. But what's even more interesting about that? Based on this, we already have more time below this, or area below this 4% curve than we do above it. So what do y'all tell me? Y'all are the local market experts. Are prices rising or falling right now? The average price, on average.
Falling.
Falling, okay. That's what it feels like. That's what it seems like. So what's interesting is the average sales price in Wake County actually rose from 2009 to 2010. Is anybody surprised?
Well, I think that can be skewed, though.
Okay, tell me more.
I think the quality of the home that you got for $200,000,
Mhm.
maybe in a couple years back compared to what you're getting
Mhm.
today. It's a big difference.
Okay?
So the actual average, I think it's like 234, something like that, could be going up. But that's because $1 million homes are selling for 800,000, and $800,000 homes are selling for 600. And 600s are selling in the 5s and 4s and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So I can understand why that would be true, but I don't necessarily think that's a.
Okay. So I'm giving you this data, I want to give you some concepts, and then I want to give you this data to consume and use on your own. Okay? And you may find out ways to go in and tweak it and understand it differently or better. Okay? I don't know this market as well as I know the Wellington market. But what I do know is that the numbers all mean something. And even just by taking the step of showing this to your clients, they start going, holy cow. I mean,
Even if it's just to be able to say, we're below the national average.
yeah.
So we need to price it the right way.
Absolutely. Well, and understand that the way that 4% curve is done, that's not actually the national average sales price. What I had to do, because I don't know any data in Raleigh past 1995. So I just started with the 1995 average price and added 4% a year to create the 4% curve. So it tracks along real nicely with that. It's worked pretty well in every market that I've ever done that in. So that's not the actual national average. But if real estate appreciates in the United States on average at 4%, then on average in Raleigh it should also appreciate at 4%.
No, you're dead on, because different areas in the last 10 years has been anywhere from 4 to 6. Cary, North Raleigh, that's been the 6. The other outlying have been like maybe even 2 to 4. But it's been inside the belt line, it's been a higher percentage.
Okay. So, and then again, we're going big picture to small. So ultimately we're going to narrow this down to a neighborhood or to a price range. Does this make sense? Okay. So just to give y'all an example, because it's a little clearer, and I like to bring this up mostly just to give you a different perspective. That's the Wilmington market. We had a little appreciation problem.
Yeah, little.
Wait a
Major.
minute, that's
Greed,
right about the
it was
time.
the greed.
It's right about the time I bought my beach place. Oh, yes, it's the highest price.
Yeah, right about there, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my listing appointment last week. Yeah, we bought in 2009, new construction. There hasn't been a sale in the neighborhood since then. Yeah. So this is a little more clear where you can see the bubble. So, and again, I want to show you this to give you 2 or 3 perspectives. Number one, markets are local. I mean, that's 2 hours away, and we're nowhere close to having any kind of recovery on national average sales price. I'm telling people now, I'm telling my sellers down there, best case scenario for the next 3 or 4 years, best case prices stay where they are. What's more likely is they're going to fall. Here's the other thing. I just wanted to give you all a perspective on the shape of the market too, what that can look like. Make sense? Okay. Is anybody completely glazed over by the geek speak yet?
I just walked in and
Okay, so let's talk about the kind of market that we're in. How do you define a real estate market? There's kind of basically 3 ways. What would you say they are?
Buyer, seller.
Buyer, seller, transitional. Okay, so what makes something a buyer's market?
Less buyers, more supply of homes.
Okay, so can you quantify that?
Buyers are, yeah, I mean, they have more inventory to choose from, so.
Okay, inventory is the keyword. So we're going to delve into that. And this is literally the same kind of process I would take a seller through, is to go through all those graphs and then kind of start talking to them. And they're all going to go, oh, we're in a buyer's market. Well, great, tell me why, right? Well, here's the reason why. Buyer's markets occur when there's over 7 months of listing inventory, right? So how do you calculate listing inventory?
Number of sold over time period versus number of active.
Right. Okay, does anybody know what the listing inventory is for Raleigh right now?
No, because I always do it on a neighborhood and like an
Yeah.
area basis.
Okay, so that's a good thing, I think. Anybody have any idea how many homes have sold in the last 90 days in Raleigh? so far this year?
Oh, you're gonna depress me, go ahead.
I don't have the answer. I thought you guys would have the answer. I was waiting to see what you guys would have to say.
More than 3.
So the reason I'm kind of driving on to that point is because these are numbers that you need to internalize. To be able to go, okay, I know that the inventory level in Raleigh right now is 11.6 months. Now you don't have to know 11.6, but 11, 12, whatever the number of months is. One of the good pieces of advice I got very early on in my real estate career was to know those numbers because it makes good cocktail party talk, right? You sound like you know what you're talking about. There's 11 months of inventory. Do you all know if the average sales price is moving up or down so far in this market this year? This year to date.
Down.
Down year to date? Ralph is shaking his head, saying no. Moving up? Okay.
A little bit.
Yeah, about
Not a lot.
maybe 1-2%, something like that, 2-3%?
Yeah, well, it's about $5,000.
About $5,000. Okay, so that's on a 200 and
It's half.
half point. Okay, so, but these are numbers that it's good to really know and understand. Okay, so if a buyer's market is over 7 months of listing inventory, we have a transitional market, and this is a healthy real estate market. Okay? So the healthy real estate market is when there's 5 to 7 months of inventory. Y'all follow? Okay, we're going to go through an exercise here in a second. Fortunately, Michael has his computer, and you're going to help us pull some data out of the MLS, and we're going to walk through the steps of this.
No juice.
No juice. Okay, well then you can log in here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to walk through this together, teach you how to calculate inventory. Okay, and then so what do you think a seller's market looks like?
5
Process of elimination here, guys. Less than 5 months of inventory. Okay, so we're going to take a quick pause. I'm going to pull this down. Can you log us into the MLS and pull some data out for us?